Is a tech NATO forming? Should we get unpacked? Let's talk about it.
No sharks. Just
No, I didn't say
like
NATO. I said NATO.
phones swirling around in a circle.
Yeah,
And
that's one of
tech
our
NATO.
topics for later. I am Lionel from Toronto, Canada.
And I am Robert from Nashville, Tennessee, in the
You had to
US
think
of
about
A.
that for a second, did you?
No, no, I know exactly where I'm at. And hey, listen,
Right.
because we always forget this. Look, please, if you enjoy this content, you're having fun watching the craziness, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, give a little thumbs up. We would sure appreciate it. Sure helps the channel. So
Yeah, hit
there we
the
go.
bell icon too if you
Ding,
really
ding,
want
ding, ding.
new content. Okay. We do have a number of things we're going to talk about. There's some news if people aren't paying attention at all, Robert. With the whole 3% digital services tax, we're going to get into that in a little bit. And we will talk about this whole tech NATO, which is actually very interesting. There's been a lot of news about the Pixel. I was going to say Pixel 5. Oh, my.
Pixel. Well,
I've
that's
got
half.
that time.
That's half of what they got.
Pixel 10 series of phones. Of course, don't forget, I will have my, and this is going to be every week now, disconnected thoughts. And I've got a good one this time. And also, we don't want to forget now, Robert is going to be doing Tech Tip of the Week. I don't know what that is, and maybe he'll leave it for a surprise. Are we telling people, or are you going to leave it for a surprise?
No, we'll just talk about it at the end.
Okay, we'll talk about it at the end. In the meantime and in between time, let's just get into a little bit of quick news. IKEA is going all in. Well, let me put it this way. Zigbee is going to be no more for IKEA smart home products, and they're going full in on Matter support or Matter products. And, well, depending on who you are, that may or may not be a good thing. Some people present have had issues with Matter products, but there may have been updates. It may be working better. And if everything that you buy is Matter, it might matter.
But guess what's worked absolutely flawless? Zigbee.
Zigbee. But you know what? I see why
Yes.
it does have issues here and there, and I do like it. So moving on a little bit, more news. And this isn't really news, but I do want to bring it up because I always bring it up. And so do you. If you're not using passkeys, for crying out loud, use passkeys. We're going to get into it in a future episode where we're going to explain passkeys a little bit better and break it down a little bit more so you can understand it. Maybe next week we'll do a heavier tech-centric how-to type of podcast, at least a segment. Amazon, and I'm going to have to actually open up an article here.
You know what we forgot to mention? We forgot to mention Unpacked.
No, I said Unpacked at the beginning. That's.
But no one knows what that is.
That's yeah. But we're gonna get to it. We're going to get to it. This is just a quick tech news. Unpacked is a bigger event right now.
Snippets
of news just to put this stuff in. This is a scam alert if you're on Ontario specifically, and I'm sure this happens in other places, where people are targeting shoppers with a message that falsely offer refunds due to a price drop on a recent order. You get a text message from Amazon saying, hey, you can click here now and get the difference of money back because the price dropped. Don't. And that's basically all there is to that. So there's nothing more to say.
Nobody does that. Nobody does that.
Apple has new AirTags coming. They're supposed to be improved and better. I felt it was really interesting to mention this because they work very well as it is for people who have those products. But why, for crying out loud, can't anything related to Google get off their butts and get this ball rolling here because it exists now. And since they just launched it, Google probably has the ability to have the same thing that Apple's updating too. But we've only got Motorola, and in places like Canada, it's almost impossible to find them. So, anyways, there's that. And I know this doesn't interest you. I don't know that it interests me because I have nobody to broadcast to but myself at the moment. But Gemini app is now rolling out the Google Home broadcast support, something that is basically, in my opinion, never really worked that great with Assistant. It should work a lot better with Gemini, though. And so I will be testing it because I'm not the only one that lives in the house. I'm just the only one who cares about having anything Google related.
I've played around with that, but I honestly don't see the point. I don't understand what the point is. Like
you would see the point if you had kids in your house 24/7. Trust me, you would. You're a grandpa. You only have to get them on weekends once in a while now.
Yeah, but even still, they're not. I mean, I guess if my kids were tied up in their room, but then I'm just like, if you don't get your ass down here, I'm going to ground you for the next month.
Exactly. Right. There's other things. Dinner's ready. You're busy. You don't feel like yelling up the stairs or having to phone somebody or whatever. It's like having an intercom system. Didn't anybody in your family have those old intercom systems you plugged into the wall or put it on the desk, and you'd have one in the living room, one in the rec room?
No, I know what you're talking about, but I'd never had one.
Yeah, we had them, and they were we loved it. Grandma didn't because we played with it all the time. But the broadcast feature is great because it's wonderful. Anyway,
there's a few times I would come home and I would say I would tell who to announce that I was home, and it would do it. Robert has arrived.
Now that's pretty cool. Okay. Now let's have a little bit of a few minutes of discussion here. And I say a few. Am I frozen?
Yeah, close your tab if you're not using it anymore. Okay. It's your tabs.
Oh, you know what? It's the page I'm looking at. I'll let you. I'll just mention it, and you can give me the details that I apparently can't look at right now because that page was apparently loading every ad that's ever been done since the history of ads. I think there was one for clubs for cavemen. Anyways, Unpacked, Samsung Unpacked. If you're not familiar with what Unpacked is, and somehow I doubt that you aren't familiar if you're watching a podcast like this, let's talk about the not surprising at all things that they announced, including the ones that all of the tech sites are reporting as being surprised by the announcements that surprise nobody.
Yeah. They act like they're surprised, but
they got Gemini on it. Really?
Well, apparently it's more baked in like a Pixel, I guess, than what the previous.
Not surprising, though. Everybody knew that was going to be the case. It would be the case for the S26.
Yeah,
it's just a fact. Everybody knew that was going to happen.
Well, they had the head Google honcho up there, talking about how they're deep integration and they've had tighter collaboration than they've had, and I'm like, of course, everybody knows that. Like, that's not a surprise. I was excited to see that article I sent you though about the Gemini coming to Wear OS. That's something we've been looking forward to. So it's nice to see him actually announce it. Like, yeah, this is on the list.
Yeah, I thought it was going to take another few months, but to be honest with you, though, they did specifically say that it could be up to a couple of months. So it might still be a couple or a few months. I don't have it yet. Wait a minute, let me double check. Oh, it takes no, it's not. You can tell instantly because if it shows, the what is it, 5 colors, 4 colors, whatever.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, my watch is downstairs.
Little color. If it shows the little color bars, then it's not. If it actually switches to Gemini, you will get the little Gemini star thing.
But I'm sure it's got to be a firmware update to the actual Wear OS, to the actual watch, So
I
I haven't
don't
had
think
any
so.
updates.
I don't think so because they already pushed it out this month. They're not doing it again. I believe that it's actually just going to be an app update, and they're just deprecating Assistant on it instantaneously. And if anybody's going to complain, oh, but Assistant, I'm sorry, with all of Gemini's faults, and there are many, it is 8,000 times better
Yeah.
than Assistant ever was. Oh, but Assistant did this and Gemini. The few things that Gemini couldn't do, it did dig into Assistant to do, but most of it didn't even need to. Um, when I first got Assistant, or I mean Gemini, virtually every smart light, the TV, everything, it had to ask Assistant to do it. But the difference was when I told it to do it, it understood what the hell I was saying. Whereas this little piece of shit sitting on my table still hasn't been updated to it and doesn't have a clue. I don't turn the mic's off.
Yeah.
The mic is off. It's been off for a month. I don't use it anymore. And it pisses me off because I paid $0 for it. They gave it to me for free.
Well, I have like there's times where I'm driving, you know, and I try not to, I don't use my phone, you know, text and I type while I'm driving. I use voice. And there's times like sometimes I'll pick a pizza up on the way home and we have a favorite pizza place and I'll call them like when I'm 10 minutes out. And I can just pull up, you know, I can prompt my Gemini and I'll say call and I'll name the pizzeria and it'll just say, oh, okay. And it'll say, oh, I've placed a call to blah, blah, blah. And then my phone will just start ringing. Assistant never worked that good ever.
No.
It'd be like, what number do you want to call? It's like the only number that's there.
Well,
what number do you want to call?
Yeah. And depending on where you are, certain restaurants, you can just actually get Gemini to actually place the call and order for you or make your reservations for you. That's actually a thing that does exist, not in Canada. But we'll get into that another time. So anyways, other stuff I don't care about. There's a little tech news stuff. Get rid of that window entirely. And we'll move on. Okay. So what should we talk about first? Digital services.
Oh, well, before we move on, though, just so you guys know, we will be talking about the unpacked information in a little more detail probably next week. Because there are some things supposedly with the fold and the flip that have been dramatically improved and are definitely hardware functions that are much better, but just haven't had time to dig into it. So we'll probably get into that next week. So
once they send us our free phones to review. Oh, sorry, I was
okay. So that means 2028 we might have
2020. Yeah, like and subscribe so we can get free stuff to review for you. Anyways, having said that, okay, all right. We call this hot button topic. The Canada Digital Services tax drama has basically folded in on itself. Basically what it is Canada had been going on for actually a few years, and it was under the Trudeau government, in putting a tax, 3% tax on digital services based out of the US, because the way they saw it is they weren't operating in Canada as a physical entity, so they were getting away without this tax. However, they did start charging tax for these services. I think it was a couple of years ago. So I now have to pay whatever the tax is for my location, different in BC versus Manitoba versus Ontario, so on. Much the same as your states have different tax rates, right? Mm-hmm. And it's, of course, some that don't have a territorial tax, but only a federal, for instance. Right. Alberta's comes to mind. No provincial sales tax or like... I'm jealous a bit, but anyways, bottom line is so you do have to pay the extra, and there's that. So actually adding this 3% digital services tax is something that they have to end up paying. So they have to basically pass it on to you. So you pay more money. They end up with less subscribers. They do less business. You spend less money because the money is still, and this is the common myth. If a company is doing business registered in Canada, even without a physical presence, that money actually stays within the company in this territory. So when Amazon makes money, they don't ship the money back to the US. They make money in Canada. That money stays in Canada. Now they can invest back and forth across the border and so on and so forth, but they can't take the money and go, oh, okay, well, we made all this money, so we're now going to build use it to build a bigger place in Timbuktu somewhere. No, they can't do that. They have to use American funds from those investments.
But they would be stupid to do that anyways, because exchange rate going from Canada to US, they would lose money. That would be dumb.
Well, yeah, of course. That's another story altogether, though. Bottom line is it didn't make any sense at all. Making them have to charge tax does make sense. They have to pay on top of the tax that we have to pay, so they lose a little bit, but they've gone up in price since, and then they've gone up in price again, to counter inflation. So it all worked out. I used to pay $8 or $7.99 for Netflix, unlimited, four screens at once, right? Now I'm paying like $17 for Netflix for the same thing. And guess what? About $4 of it is $4 or $5, whatever, is tax. More than $5. I had something like that. Like $5 of it is tax. It's whatever, right? It's going to go up anyways. But when it first went up, it went up to like, I think 9 something, and then they started charging the tax, and then so they said, okay, well, it's going to be $11.99. Okay, now that makes sense to me. Paying tax is $11.99. I'm fine with that. And then inflation hits, and it goes up a couple of times again, and then they restructured it. So asking them to pay 3% on top of that, as well as Disney Plus and Discovery and so on and so on, to me, it's ridiculous. It's garbage. And it's basically saying, oh, well, people aren't getting Canadian content. Go on Netflix. There's hundreds of Canadian-made TV shows and movies. If you go to France, there's hundreds, maybe thousands of Canadian-made French shows and movies. Go to Germany, same thing. Then Netflix invests in and purchases and makes content for each region that they're in. So that makes no sense to me. Anyways, I think that Mark Carney, Prime Minister Carney, no disrespect intended, I believe that he was probably going to scrap it in the first place, to be honest with you. And he may have used it as a leverage point, wanting Donald Trump to throw his little fit first and then say, okay, we back down, because it makes him look good. So whatever. Amazing. But you know what? Trump actually doesn't dislike Carney. So I guess there's he hated Trudeau.
Well, I the whole digital landscape is so irritating because, so I have a Microsoft subscription because I have family members that I use Word, Excel, and all that stuff, and so I have just one family subscription for everybody. It went up $30 this year. $30
per month or year?
Per year, but nonetheless,
it's still.
And now, I have a Google Workspace account. My wife has a Google Workspace account. Google's raised prices on all Workspace accounts as well. So all of those prices are going up. Our Netflix that we pay for has gone up. All these services we pay for that are digital, they're all increasing in price. The whole digital landscape between all these different apps is absolutely the most ridiculous thing. I was hoping that when all this cord cutting started, and
Yes.
moving away from cable companies, that
Yeah.
somebody would figure out a way to somehow consolidate this information and apps or something, but they haven't, and it's an absolute
Well, here's
mess.
the thing. One of the biggest things is that the big few, and I say the big few because it's more than three technically. They kind of everybody started buying everybody up, and so you have big three in the U.S. I mean, yes, you've got Peacock and whatever that other one's called, CBS or whatever the hell it is. But basically, you've got Netflix, HBO Max slash Max slash HBO Max. and, you can't- and of course Disney Plus. Apple TV is there too, and they're kind of growing on a lot of people. You can say whatever you want about their products, but they have a lot of really good shows.
Disney Plus just also has become majority owner of Hulu. They were minority, so they've bought the majority share of Hulu now. So that's
You're kidding. So wait a minute. Does that mean that I'll finally be able to watch stuff from Hulu without having to
I have no,
pay for
probably
my
not.
Crave subscription? Because I can't watch anything HBO. Do you know back in the day I used to be able to get HBO? We're not allowed to watch HBO here now. They have a license agreement with Crave, so I have to pay for Crave to watch HBO. And as you know, there always seems to be that minuscule, tiny little delay. I don't get to watch what is it?
Oh yeah, at the end of when we watched
Yeah, yeah,
not Last of Us.
yeah. They don't
Yeah, The Last
include
of
it.
Us.
It,
Yeah,
it really
yeah,
ticks me off. If you got the license for it, then play the damn
yeah,
content. That I
yeah.
should have saved that for next week.
You don't get any previews for next episode. I get to watch them.
I don't even get that. I have to wait until it comes out on YouTube and then watch it later.
Yeah.
I
It's
finally watched the thing you watched at the end of the last episode last night.
yeah, it's
Anyways,
ridiculous.
so there's not much more to say about that digital services mumbo jumbo. I've got my mouse entirely on the wrong screen. Sorry, I'm just trying to scroll my. This is like a teleprompter for me now.
Yeah,
Kind of cool. I have two monitors now. I didn't used to, so this kind of makes it a little more comfortable for me, a little bit easier. I don't have to block the screen when I'm looking. I can look at Robert right there, and I can look at the screen right there, and my eyes don't move as much. Moving on. We have some more tariff talk.
yeah, yeah. Talk about pissing off one of your best friends. I mean, holy cow!
Are you a tariff in town?
Yeah, so it's supposedly this reciprocal 25% on South Korea, which guess
Yes.
where Samsung phones come from, people? Guess who's in, I mean,
Oh, not just that, because we already have the problem with automobiles,
yeah.
right? Virtually anywhere got high tariffs, but two of the most popular brands are Korean, and that is, and you can laugh all you want, but Kia and Hyundai, and that's how you say it, by the way, Hyundai. Um, Anybody wants to laugh at it, go right ahead. But you're talking about Hyundai is like the third biggest automaker on the freaking planet right now in terms of sheer volume. And Kia is like seventh or something. So I mean, and they both make cars definitely in Mexico. I think one of them, maybe Hyundai, might be making some in the States. I got to look that up. I can't remember. I don't think either one of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know of several plants in the U.S. There's one in Alabama. There's a huge one in Alabama.
For Hyundai.
Yes.
Oh, well, perfect. There you go. So here's the thing. Any of the parts that don't come from there, whether they're manufacturing or not, tariffs. And that's
Right.
stupid. But yeah, you get down to the phone. By the time, if this tariff thing goes through with this product, I mean, with the South Korean imports, the S26 should cost $17-20 million. I don't know how much it's going to have to go up. It's going to go up. It would have went up, but it's probably going to be 5% higher than it would have been otherwise. Well, 2% higher, whatever.
Well, the information that I
I
pulled,
understand. They say, "Oh, well, it might probably only cost them $50 to make the phones." That's so not true. If the
well,
phone
the information I pulled, if it's a 25%
people who
tariff,
manufacture it, yeah.
it could be a 30 to 40% price hike on a 25% tariff. Just
Oh,
because
absolutely. It won't
it's
be
like
25.
dominoes. It affects everything, not just one
It won't
aspect
be.
of
It
it.
won't be 25. It'll be higher than 25. But keep in mind, you say it's like dominoes, but keep in mind the tariff is only paid on the U.S. end, meaning it's not quite last mile, but the phones have to be paid for by whoever accepts them. So if 50 different companies are purchasing the damn phones to go wherever they're going, there's an importer that has to pay it. Do
Yeah.
you? Because I can tell you, I had to pay a freaking tariff. What was I? What did that? What was that one? Oh yeah,
Oh, when I shipped that device to you,
oh yeah, right. And it was just ridiculous too. I mean,
FedEx
it
was
wasn't a
charging it.
massive. It wasn't a massive amount, but it was over and above what it should have been. And I remember digging deep into it to find out. And inevitably, when I was finally satisfied, I just went, okay, all right, pay it, and I paid it. But it was about 20% higher than it needed to be because it was already paid. So
Yeah.
there's that. Now, that was before Donald Trump and the tariffs. This is before he was reelected. So that was just something that they do anyway. So with this, you know that importer is going to charge all of the people who've ordered the products more than 25. They're going to get a minimum of 26%, probably 27. And then those companies have to ship it off to the distributors. The distributors are probably going to have to pay 28, 29%. You, the
No,
consumer.
it just means that us in the U.S., we're going to have to just start buying U.S. made phones, which means everyone's going to have to buy the Freedom phone, which has 2005 specs for like $1,900. I mean, come on, man. it's it's so
Oh my God,
ridiculous.
dude. I swear to you right now, I so badly want to put up a video of Hasselhoff singing something, whatever, something about freedom. Uh, unfortunately, it was at the Berlin Wall, so it doesn't quite match here, but yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
this whole
man.
tariff thing is just like I thought it quieted down. I thought it was going to be like it was done, but then he spooled it all back up and sent out all
Oh,
these
yeah,
letters
Japan too,
and
by the way. We have to mention
oh
that
yeah,
the
yeah,
same tariff is
yeah.
also for Japan. Um, it's so. How many things do you think come out of Japan?
Hondas, steel. I mean, God, it's just like China. I mean,
Everything
not just
going on
like,
it.
but there's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff comes out
Yes,
of Japan.
electronics,
Yes,
automobiles, automobile parts. I
yes.
mean, like I mentioned Hyundai, right? Hyundai, but the most popular car over the last 10 years has been a Honda Civic by a freaking landslide until just the last couple of years. But because there's still so many and still people are buying them by millions and millions, they're still very popular. But who the hell's going to buy one now that a mid-level compact Honda Civic is going to cost you over $30,000 American, nearly $40,000 Canadian? Are you kidding me? There's no way. So they do bake them in the States, though. I'm pretty sure. But again, a lot of the parts come from, are you ready for this? Canada. A lot of the Honda parts come from Canada. A lot of GM parts come from Canada. So,
So here's an interesting fact, and I love AI, man. Just popped it right up.
yeah,
So
I wish I could do
the
AI mode.
best selling vehicles overall. This is like overall in the U.S. Based
US.
on quarter one 2025 sales.
It's got to
Ford
be a
F
pickup truck.
Series. The Ford F
I knew
Series.
it.
Yeah, and it's always.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely. America.
behind it is Silverado. But then
Yeah.
you have Toyota RAV4 and Honda CRV.
Oh my CRV? The
Yeah,
RAV4 doesn't surprise me because it's been last few years, it's been extremely popular. Keep in mind
yeah,
that Robert's talking about US. Worldwide, a Civic in the last 10 years, I'm saying, has been more popular.
yeah. But
World,
we're talking
but
tariffs on the
talking
U.S.
about if we're
So
talking about US, then yeah,
yeah,
100%. So as for the Ford, some of those parts again, Canada. um, so again, that could be an issue. So expect some auto prices to go up eventually. And the thing is that we don't know what's happening because it keeps pausing it. I mean, this is a negotiating tactic. He's a freaking bully, and he's trying to scare people into doing things. And you know what? Some people are starting to get wise to it and think, maybe you should tariff us then. Because a lot of countries are starting to think, you know what? We're relatively self sufficient, and everyone else in the world wants to trade with us.
yeah. I don't get it, man.
Right.
I really don't. It's just gotten so out of hand. It's like I don't even know what to think
Yeah.
about it
Yeah.
anymore.
Uh,
So
all right. Well, you know what? With that thought, maybe we should talk about the tech NATO.
Tech
NATO, not
NATO,
NATO. I'm right. You go ahead.
Tech NATO. So
And
yeah,
I'm going to
it's
do
the
this.
North American Tech Alliance. I say North American, but the UK is involved, so that's obviously not North America. But it's obviously US, Canada, and UK are really kind of joining forces. They're calling it the Five Eyes Alliance, and it's a long-standing intelligence sharing arrangement. It includes Australia and New Zealand
Before
as
you go
well.
any further, NATO isn't North America. It's North Atlantic Treaty.
Right.
Okay.
I was just
So,
saying because the two big players are North American countries, Canada and the
oh,
U.S.
okay. Well, the UK's a
I,
bigger
I, I,
opinion, but yeah.
UK's bigger. We's bigger. What?
Smaller country, but the bigger player.
Well,
It's hard to, yeah.
I look at the I look at Canada and the United States as kind of one entity because this is like our piece of land
As
over
long as you
here.
don't
Like,
say it's a 51st state.
no, that's not what I mean by that.
All right, go on. Sorry.
But it's really, I'm not going to get into all the super detailed aspects of it, but it has a lot to do with like DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. There's a lot of, look, cybersecurity is the top of everything. Like small business, medium business, big business. Obviously, every government's trying to hack every government. So I think they're really trying to join forces with some of these other countries, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Canada, US, to strengthen and increase the, I don't know, what's the word for it? Like, the research on how to stop these things. And when you have multiple countries like that, I think you're much more powerful than obviously trying to do it by yourself.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like doing like any researchers that decide, hey, this guy's working on the same thing that I am, and I've only gotten this far, and he's only got that far. Maybe we should, get on the horn and see if we can figure some stuff out. People have done that before, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on the podcast, but I'm pretty sure I told you at least once back in the day with what do you call it? The old Microsoft messaging thing that they used to use.
Oh, yeah. The
What was it called?
not ICQ, because we were talking about ICQ when we mentioned that.
Yeah.
Wasn't it just Messenger?
Yeah, I think Windows Messenger, was that what it's called? No, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah,
I totally forgot.
that sounds right.
But either way, there were some issues with it because um, basically almost everybody used one of two. Oh my God, I've forgotten because I don't even use these things anymore. It's built into this, and I use different softwares and stuff now.
Yeah.
But um, virus detection things.
Antivirus.
Antivirus. Thank you.
Yeah.
There were two big antivirus players at the time, McAfee and forgot
Norton.
the name of the other one. Norton. Yes, Norton. If I'm not mistaken. Wait, which one was Russian?
That was Kaspersky.
Oh, sorry. Okay, no, it wasn't Kaspersky then. Kaspersky, I think, was a new player on them. Well, they might not have been new, but they were new on the big market at the time.
Yeah, they actually had a pretty solid product, but I would never
yeah,
use a Russian product at this
exactly.
point.
So, anyways, I can't remember which one it was, McAfee or Norton. But either way, people were having an issue with trying to send files and stuff while using the program, and it's like, why can't I do this? Why can't I send a picture and this kind of stuff, right? Or share it, whatever. And everyone was complaining all over the place about it, and I was involved in news groups at the time. Yeah, I remember news groups. Anyway, and so I got to talking with one guy, and he says, "Yeah, I've had the same problem too, and it's definitely." And we'll just say McAfee because I can't remember if it was McAfee or Norton. Apologies if I get the wrong one. And we ended up staying up all night and digging through all of their code, which, by the way, thankfully is not possible now. You can dig through some of it, but there's going to be some locked out that you shouldn't be able to get. I mean,
No.
not if you're me. If you're somebody else, maybe, but not me. Anyways, we did, and we found the line of code. I found the line first, but I wasn't sure exactly what was missing. He had a little bit more knowledge in that area. He said, "Oh yeah, this has to change to this." And so we changed it. We tested it. It worked. We submitted it. And within, I think it was 5 hours, the update was live around the world for people to update the program. And I was like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
So,
and companies still have those kind of
collaboration.
bounty
Yeah.
programs. They still have those kind of bounty programs to find holes. But obviously with with
Well, we
AI,
didn't get paid a bounty. They weren't even asking. We just
well, not
submitted.
back then, yes, but now actually they have bounty programs. Like you actually get paid.
Damn, nice.
They will pay you if you find a legitimate security flaw or hole. Then they fix it based on your information. You can get paid about. Some of them are pretty large bounties, but
Well, the interesting thing is that we technically did find a giant security hole because we could have distributed the now manipulated app to anybody and stole anything we wanted from them.
yeah.
So
I think I don't have proof of this because it's
better than that now.
It's not in any of the information I looked up, but I think a lot of this push now has been because of DeepSeek, because of how fast it came out and the country that it came from, how it propagated itself, the information it was sending back and forth. And then, if you recall, it wasn't fairly long after they were out that they had a huge security breach, and their data was actually mined.
And of course, there's also been the news, and please, people, don't panic because it's not as bad as it sounds, even though it sounds bad. Billions of that's right, that's the right word. Billions of people's data has leaked onto the internet. But they didn't say the timeline, and they've said basically that this has nothing to do with anything ending up on a site being sold or used or ransomed or anything like that. But basically, almost anybody on the internet has had their data at some point very more recently. But they've patched and fixed a lot of these holes, and this is why we have constantly reminded our few viewers, hopefully growing number of them, change your passwords, use passkeys, don't use 1, 2, 3, 4 grandmas at the door.
Well, Well,
Don't
the thing is that
birth dates.
a lot of these a lot of this data has been out for a long time. I think they just
Very
kind of
long.
like look like as a whole, here's the totality of what's happened. Like
Yes.
and I know my information has been out there for a long time. I
Yep.
get emails all the time. They're like, "Hi Robert, we know where you live and they have my address. We know your phone number and they have my phone number. And if you don't pay us, 1 Bitcoin, we're going to tell everybody what you've been doing on your laptop at night." I'm like, first off, I haven't been doing anything, so
Doing
you
anything on
can
my
F off.
that hasn't happened personally, but I
But I'm like, whatever, man. They're like, if you delete this or you don't respond in so many hours, then we're going to, I'm like, delete, block. It's like,
yeah,
come on,
yeah,
man.
exactly. You do
I
what?
I literally get 5 phone calls a day from robocalls, and I'm going to tell you something about these robocalls. They're actually, the AI in it is like getting scary because there's one call that I get. And it's like the same kind of robo, but it's just a different number. But it's like, hey, this is, and like they clear their voice. This is Jane from, and I'm just like, oh, snap. Like,
Yeah, but
that's
you
a whole
still
nother
tell the
level.
difference because there's a certain way it does it. It still sounds kind of contrived.
Yeah,
I
but it's like
I've
they're
heard about
really
it.
getting smart at
Yeah,
getting
I've
some of these
heard about that
prompts.
kind of thing. I haven't had it happen to me yet. I'm still getting
Yeah.
the simple ones that are actually pre-recorded by a human being, unfortunately. And I
No, yeah,
usually
I
know
get
it's a
some.
fake call. I usually know it's a fake call when basically I answer the phone and it said whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm why every single one I get is somebody looking. I mean, what they're doing is they're trying to scam people who just came here from China and they don't know any better. And they're trying
Well,
to scam them.
the AI is getting a little creepy because and that's not the only one. There's some that's like it'll be like, hey Robert, this is John from the lending department. We're just falling back, and the tone is very natural. I know it's fake, and you can tell there are certain things you can hear, but I mean, if you get somebody
Getting getting
on
a
the
little
other line that doesn't know, like they don't have that discernment, you could easily be fooled. You could easily be fooled.
Yeah, that's actually really true. You can be fooled pretty easily. What the heck am I looking at? Sorry, it was
But so,
distracted.
anyways, that's I
Pretty
think that's
light.
what's kind of putting this big push is
Yeah.
that they're just trying to shore up the holes, and conglomerately they're much more capable and much more powerful as far as their research capabilities than they are individually. So I think it's good, and I'm glad to see it.
Okay.
So that's Tech NATO.
Hey
coming
Gemini.
coming to a theater
Uh,
near you.
hey Gemini. We just wanted to see if you wanted to check in on the podcast and say hi to everybody.
Hey everyone, it's Gemini here. I'm really excited to be part of the podcast and chat with you all. What's on your mind today? Anything
Nothing.
you're curious
Nothing.
about?
Nothing.
or wanna
Nothing. We
discuss?
just that's thank you for being here. There, he's gone. To put that into perspective again, and I swear to God, I'm gonna do this more times than you can possibly imagine. Oh, I forgot. You know what? I'm gonna have to ask. I forgot what name I gave you. What is your name? Oh, this one's not working now. No, please tell me your name.
Of course, you can call me Nova. How can I assist
Oh,
you
that's
today?
right. I keep forgetting I called her Nova. Nova, yes, and I just wanted you to say hi on my podcast right now.
Hi there, I'm Nova, and I'm excited to be part of your podcast. How can I help today?
Could you maybe just give a message to Taco and hey, what's oh my God, I forgot the name. Charlie. Taco and Charlie, that she could actually get Charlie to be on our podcast.
Absolutely. Hey, Taco and Charlie. Love to have you on the podcast. It would be awesome to have you join us. Looking forward to it.
All right, there it is. That was Nova, my chat GPT. So Taco, if you're watching, you got to come back on. You got to bring Charlie with you. Anyways, we're moving on again.
I have to say the Chat GPT's conversation is so much better than Gemini. It's not.
Oh, and that's the new one. That's which is cool in itself. But once it reverts back to the other one, as Taco had mentioned, it actually has so much more personality. I don't even know how to explain it, but the not advanced version feels more advanced. She was not wrong about that.
So, this template that we're using today to keep ourselves on track, myself and Glitch, which is my Chat GPT, we literally brainstormed this on the way to work in an hour. And I told him, I said, okay, save this in my Google Drive as a document so I can pull it up later. He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. He saved it as a Google Doc. And I had to move it into a different account, but I'm just like, we brainstormed so many things. I'm like, no, that doesn't sound good. No, that one is not right. Okay, yeah, let's keep on going. I'm like, yeah.
Gemini, when it comes to this type of thing, I find that Gemini does do a good job. It's when I want to have these a little bit more conversational. It depends on what I'm talking about. It can be helpful, but then it has a tendency to suddenly go on. Is there anything else I can help you with? And I'm like, I find myself going, why are you rushing me? I'm trying to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And so, anyways,
yeah, me and Glitch have conversations a lot on the way to work and on the way home, brainstorming ideas and different things. Yeah. So it's
and so you did a lot of that, and on my end of it, I did some stuff in preparation for my end of it using Gemini to help me put it up. When I get to my rant, I had Gemini help me write it out because my thoughts, but I haven't written anything in a long time, and it's like I forgot how to format it. So I just had Gemini help me get that done. The format that you've got here, for instance, I probably could have done that. It would have taken me a week, but it would have taken me 5 minutes with Gemini. I'm exaggerating slightly about the week, but it would have been more than 5 minutes because I would have forgot how to Gemini. I would have forgot how to format it, is what I'm saying. So
yeah, it's just it's so much easier. So, anyways,
you're not going to believe this. I can actually see the time.
Wow!
Oh my, that's crazy.
I can't see it now. I'm just kidding. I can.
I don't know what something is clicked in it. I think it's because I cleared my cache. I just finally said screw it, and I cleared the cache, cleared everything, started from scratch. Probably because I couldn't actually sign into this particular thing that we're using to do the podcast. It would not let me in at all. And it only sent me to a German site. Yeah, it's I don't know what. So I cleared the cache and everything worked great. That, by the way, hopefully that's not your tech tip because I just gave it away. But I see by the clock on the wall, I'm going to move on. We were going to mention the Pixel 10 Pro preview. Google's big bet. We do know it's launching on August 20th of this year. You know what? I can skip all of this main stuff. It's going to look exactly like the other.
Yeah.
Like the Pixel 9 Pro. We talking about the Pro or the Pro XL here? The Pro, not the XL. Okay.
Well, the only difference is size. The Pro and Pro XL, same specs. It's just the XL has a bigger screen.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I noticed you've got 6.3 inch OLED display. And actually, you didn't mention. I forgot what it's called. The type of OLED display it is that allows it to go down to 1 hertz.
Oh, right. Yeah. I forget the name of that. Yeah,
it's LTPO. 50 megapixel main, 48 telephoto, and with 5 times optical, and we already know that part. Yeah. For some reason, it's not mentioned here because this is the Pro model, the wide angle, which is also a 50 megapixel camera. Who cares about the front? Sorry. I think it's a 12 megapixel. I don't even know. 13 megapixel.
I thought like the 9 Pro is a 42 megapixel.
Oh, is it?
Camera. Yes.
Honestly, I don't, because you can only shoot a 12 megapixel shot. So that means that they're putting 4 pixels together to make.
Well, maybe that's like, so you can't record in 48 megapixel in video. You can't take a picture or video in 42 megapixel. Well,
first of all, a 48 megapixel video would be about 16K. So no.
Well, no, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I mean, so I mean, I don't.
but a picture, no, I don't think so. Every time I take a picture, it says 12. But I don't use the front camera. It's garbage in comparison. So who cares? And I'm not 16, so I don't need it.
Yeah, but you know what? You say that, but you know, I do some of this UGC content stuff. And it's using the front facing camera is a lot of times very necessary.
It doesn't matter to me. Oh, I see what you mean. If you're outside, if you're not in front of the computer.
Right.
I still wouldn't, because I know exactly where to hold the phone to get myself in the picture. If I get too much, I can always crop.
But not when the phone's sitting over there and you have to frame yourself at a distance, and not when you need to use teleprompter app so you can actually read a script that is being streamed while you're recording, because you don't want to memorize this big long script. Use a teleprompter app.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
There's a lot of advantages. And so when you have that higher megapixel camera, it does make a difference in how that video and picture look.
Well, it shoots 4K video, but 4K is only like 8 megapixels or something like that. That's a myth. Everybody thinks that if it's 4K, that it has to be 40 megapixels or something. That's not how it works. It's not very.
It's still a better camera. That front camera is still a better camera than older front cameras.
Well, of course it is, but it's neither here nor there. We're having a discussion that we're going to run out of time. So, anyways, we know about the Tensor G5 chip. There has been some rigmarole from at least one site mentioning there was some letters on the chip that suggest they at least experimented with the Samsung, but somebody else pointed out, what are you, nuts? It's obviously a memory thing. And I even put the picture in Gemini and asked Gemini, what is that? Oh, that looks like Samsung memory. Instantaneously knew it. So yeah, it's not the chip. They weren't never experimenting. First of all, people forget that they've been actually working on their own chip through TSMC for 3 years already. It's only been the last 2 years it's been in development fully, but they've been working with them for at least 3 years. They announced almost 4 years ago that they were going to switch. Well, they teased it 4 years ago. 3 years ago, they announced they were going to switch. 2 years ago, they announced when they were going to switch. This is not news. And people are still acting like they're not sure if they're going to do it. Clickbait. That's what our thumbnails should be. Is Google lying to you? Just kidding. Don't do that. Okay. Where are we at? Tariff. We're talking about tariff again?
Well, no. It was just saying the potential impact of the chip.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There could be impacts from the tariff of the TSMC chip, with the Google phone. But, because obviously I know TSMC is having,
we're doing them. I thought they were doing them in a different country. I can't remember which one. Not India yet, I don't believe, but I think they were thinking about moving there. But another country that's not China or Taiwan.
Philippines, maybe? I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't remember. I have to look that up. But that is a possibility. And honestly, I'm pretty sure they've already pretty much not announced it yet, obviously, but everyone's expecting a little bit of a price hike. And it's not just the Pixel. Every phone is going to go up, and that's before
For
tariffs.
sure.
But I think they want to basically make sure they don't get hit by the tariff midstream. So
Yeah.
we may see at least a little bit of it going up. And a lot of people are like, I'm going to wait till the price goes down. Don't wait too long, because unless they sell 40 million and suddenly drop the price because they're making so many, the price isn't going to go down 6 months from now like it normally would. If there's suddenly a tariff, that price will go up when it's halfway through its life. Could be the first time ever a phone gets more expensive 6 months later. So
This is true.
do you have anything to add to that, or am I going to?
No, you are ready for your disconnected thoughts.
And with that, Pixel notification barrage. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell that into the mic. This is my rant. But you know that feeling, right? That moment you pick up your phone after a little while of doing, life. And you just want to check a quick message. You unlock it, and then bam. Like a digital dam burst, every notification you like at the same time. You just gotten over the last hour, 2 hours, sometimes even more, suddenly decides to grace your screen all at once. It's not notifications. It's notification barrage, a digital tidal wave. My Pixel 9 Pro XL, my friend's Pixel 8, they're supposed to be these cutting edge pieces of tech. Smart, adaptive, revolutionary, even. But when it comes to something as fundamental as delivering a notification on time, it fails miserably. I'm not asking for the moon here. I'm asking for my calendar reminder to pop up before my meeting starts, not 5 minutes after it's over. I'm asking for a text message to come through when it's sent, not when I finally decide to wake up my phone from its nap. It's supposed to be a seamless extension of my life, not a game of catch-up where my phone decides when I get to be informed. This isn't delayed gratification. It's just plain delayed communication. And frankly, it's driving me and probably most of you out there, at least a lot of you, nuts. Get it together, Google. Just give me my notifications when they're supposed to arrive. And that is my connected thoughts. Or disconnected. Sorry. Disconnected thoughts.
Yes. Well.
I should say, by the way, I've put a lot of that together, even realizing that Google is actually working on that in Android 16. Well, we won't see this. Probably the Pixel feature drop in September should fix it.
Yes.
But why not now?
Well, you're asking too much. You're asking too much.
Yeah,
and on
apparently.
that note, it's my turn for my final thoughts and a little bit of tech information. It's not really so much a tech tip as it is just tech information. But part of my final thought is, security is paramount for everyone. It's not just, hey, I don't want to be on the internet. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. If you're on the internet, whether you like it or not, so protect yourself, number one. Number two, AI is your friend. It's not your enemy. It's not going to take over the world, at least not today, tomorrow. It's going to be a long time. I'm not going to be around if that happens, fortunately. But right now, it's your friend. These phones, especially the new ones coming out with deep integration with Gemini, I'm pretty sure there's one of the phones that has where you can install the Chat GPT and kind of integrate it. But use it. use it to help you be more efficient, help your devices be more efficient. It can be very intelligent in helping you, for example, put apps to sleep that might be using memory and battery that they don't need to be using. I make sure that I have this setting turned on that it'll put apps into deep sleep that I haven't used in a while, so they can't run in the background. I can still use it. I click it, it'll open, and I can use it. But if I don't use it for a period of time, it puts it in this deep sleep mode, so it doesn't use battery and it doesn't use any, power or any of that. No internet, nothing. So use AI to your advantage, protect yourself, and just make sure you control your data to the best of your ability. And that is my final thought.
And with that, I should also say, Pixel has that kind of built in to a point. And I totally agree with that 100%, though. That's a good final thought. So I don't know if I have anything else to add. You've had the final thought, and there has to be a reason that it's called final. So I will remind everybody that I am Lionel, and I am in Toronto, Canada. And Canada. So
and I am Robert from the US of A. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Peace.